Just fucking do it. Subscribe now. Okay, questions, comments about Andreas. That was 8 or 9 months ago, maybe 10 months ago. And now we're having that board meeting that I thought was going to be in December. We're having it next month in person. And all the other board members are all excited because they got nothing to do and all day to do it. And hopefully Sally won't pay the bill this time. I don't mind the 8 martinis afterwards, but that's not... I'm used to that, more or less. Comments about Andreas, regular guy. His presentation skills are average. I mean, no slick car salesman like Thomas McGuire. Thomas doesn't sell cars, but I mean, no slick salesman. Just a regular doofus German guy. Put his head down, slow out of the blocks. He's working 60 hours a week on another job. And he still was able to do that. And he's done really quite well. And he's got a methodical plan. And he's one of the few guys in all these years that I've been doing this that actually did almost exactly what he said he was going to do. And that differentiates him, I mean, by miles, by leagues. Did everybody understand what he said when he was walking through? And the example I used this morning against the Bitcoin is his, except it's been updated. It's been updated. And now he's upgraded the car again. He's got a... What's the Mercedes? It's got initials, MG something or AG. Yeah. Is that the big Mercedes? Expensive? Maybe. Well, he's upgraded. So, but the Germans all want a house on the lake so that they can stand there like their Führer from back in the day with their Alsatian dog, and it's in their DNA. It just is. The takeaway for me is he says, I knew about Mr. Peña for 5 years. And what if game, if I'd been there before, I would have already been in that €8 million house. Yeah, in the back. Yes, sir.
He said when he bought the assets of the company, he picked and choose which leases to keep. Mercedes off, those cars stay. Can you do that if you buy the assets of the company with employees as well? Pick which contracts to renew.
Well, it depends if they have contracts. Less Americans have contracts than Europeans. Europeans, Germans, Dutch, Brits have contracts. And and it depends what kind of contract they have, but they're specific. I mean, if there's a change in control, some of them you have to buy out if there's a change in control, if that's how the contract's written. Sometimes the employee has the option to go. Sometimes the employer has an option to take them or not. And remember I said, when you start doing the contracts, remember you tell the lawyer, I'm going to benefit. And all the contracts you're going to sign from the day you buy these things going forward are going to benefit you, not the politically correct woke way that they do contracts now. So it depends how they're written. Now, some of the people that you're going to, some of the acquisitions you'll make will have you won't have to take them. But I mean, some of these people are important to the business. I mean, some of these people are important to the business, even though, I say sarcastically, I don't want to take anybody. Well, maybe I didn't want to take anybody, but, I can't just let the company bleed to death because I've got no employees. I'm not a big believer in paying for hierarchy, not hierarchy, but history. Okay? The guy's there 25 years. Has he been there 1 year, 5 times, or has he been actually, he knows what the hell is going on? Those kind of employees, you can't have enough of, or you can't have enough of. But generally speaking, companies that are making, and remember, these companies are making money. These aren't turnaround deals. They have 20 to 40% too many employees. 20 to 40. But a lot of these companies that have had 20 to 40% too many employees for decades. For decades. Now, I'm not a big believer in time and motion studies. Where they measure them going back and forth and how much productivity they have, yada, yada, yada. Okay. And I got suckered into, when we had 48,000 square feet of our office space in Houston, Texas, they did a time and motion study, and then they showed it to me, why we should have a staircase between our floors instead of having to wait in the elevator. It's in the top 15 dumbest things I ever did, because to build a staircase in a building that's already built isn't easy, and it's extremely expensive. Time and motion study. And I don't recommend you do time and motion studies. But, I mean, if there's a half a dozen really senior people in something that you buy, and they will tell you, even though when you're buying it, our intention is not to change anything in the beginning, which is God's truth. Not our intention to change anything in the beginning. That doesn't mean forever. Okay? They will only hear you're not going to change anything. But they will be able to tell you, we really don't need this part of the department, or we don't need this, or we can consolidate this. And you listen to the old timers. But you're going to get stuck with some employees, and that's why I try to stay away from unions. You can't 100% stay away from unions. Oh, yes, you can. You can not buy any assets in any companies that have unions. That's easy to stay away from. But sometimes there'll be a great opportunity, and it's either 100% unionized or partially unionized, like your deal. I want to say again, 8 million, right? 8 point. Forgive me for undercutting them. 12, going to 12. Okay, good. And the unions haven't bothered you, right? No. Okay. Well, good. Well, good. I hope it continues that way. But I mean, we bought some assets where they had a Maserati. The company was paying for it, obviously, and they had Ferraris, and we keep the. I think the most expensive car, at least that we've kept, is a Lexus. But most of the people in this size, not just in this size company, are living out of the company. They're paying for their kids' tuition and everything else out of the company. And they don't see anything wrong with it. And those are some of the hassles that you better get good at explaining that, I told you Goombas only have one of the employees, that's their mom, the bookkeeper who can't add a column up. But that's a lot better than it used to be. It used to be. And when you buy family businesses, you're going to get, a good portion of the family shouldn't be there. They've been there historically just because they're in the family. But all the challenges that I've explained these 2.5 days, it's still the greatest game in town. It just is. And we're going to hear Marcus this afternoon. And he's Germanic. He doesn't like to be called German because he's Austrian. Boom, 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 boom. And he's going to tell you more mistakes that he made and why he's not a multi-billionaire. And he's only got a few $100 million. And listen closely, because they're easy mistakes to make, especially when you start making a lot of money. You get not soft, I don't want to use the word sloppy, but you're not as careful. I think that's the word. You're not as careful when you start making tons of money. And of course, tons of money is different for everyone in the room. But he started making a lot of money and having transactions that really paid off. And he's been in a bull market in what he does in Austria for 11 and a half years. There's never been a dip of any kind. And so you get to expect, but when he tells you in a few minutes the 3 biggest errors he made, what he doesn't tell you is that he didn't have to make those 3 errors because I told him, but we'll wait for I don't want to steal the thunder. Anything else about Andreas? Just like we explained. Just like we explained. And the people that were asking the questions, most of the questions were bullshit like normal. But and he's when one of the lawyers asked him, "Aren't you afraid of being thrown out?" And he said, "No, because he's convinced, and truthfully, if he does ever get thrown out, I can't imagine the set of circumstances that he would get thrown out. He's going to walk away with a lot of money." But emotionally, because I walked away with a lot of money, emotionally it doesn't feel so good when they toss you out for something that you founded. Goodbye, YouTube.